Okay guys, hey, Lee Godbold with junkremovalauthority.com. Check us out at junkra.com or junkremovalauthority.com. We are the premier provider of support services, consulting, and marketing services for the junk removal industry. Sell complete business packages, Google AdWords management, search engine optimization, websites, general consulting. We've got a video training and testing series coming up as well that'll be sold individually. So what we're going to cover today, something that's always been real important to me that I've been able to, has really assisted me to reach the level of success that I have and that our companies have, has been reading. I always just consume as many books as I can. I've gotten to the point we've gotten so busy since we started Junk Removal Authority, still running junk doctors, you know, doing the family thing and all, and a couple other hobbies I have with flying and shooting and stuff like that, that I wasn't reading as much as I wanted. So one of my New Year's resolutions this year was to try and read a book a week, or to read a book a week. The only way that I figured out that I could prioritize my time in my life and still get my work done is to actually bring y'all into it. So that way reading actually became part of my job. So I'm going to try and do a book review a week. These things are going to get better as we go. Again, a lot of this is actually for me. I think some of you will find some great information off of this. I'll introduce you to some books that I've found to be very helpful, and I think it'll help you out as well. I know many of you out there, you ask me all the time, what are books I recommend? Well, we're going to start building up a pretty large library here. Now, a couple things. I am not going to be going back. I read hundreds of books previously. I only cover those if I myself want to reread those, and from time to time I will. It's not uncommon for me to pick up Good to Great or Traction or Rework, Mark Cuban's little memoir. It's not uncommon, Dan Kennedy's management book. You know, it's not uncommon for me to reread those books from time to time, and if I do, I'll cover them in a book review. This right here is probably not as well organized as some of the reviews coming up, because again, it's the first one I've done, and I'm not going to waste a whole lot of time reorganizing this. I jotted notes down. We're going to cover them in order. Hope y'all read this book and find this review helpful. So what we're covering today is Essentialism by Greg McKeown. One of the main things I gained from this book is prioritizing, getting the important things done first, and the importance of sleep. That was something else that was covered in here, and some people, they equate hustle, hard work, expelling a lot of energy. That's great. You want to expel a lot of energy, but they're going off in a million different directions. And this book right here kind of helped me wrap my head around something I've already known, but to even further kind of introduce me to some concepts that are new, as well as kind of drive home some concepts that I had somewhat figured out on my own. So one of the key graphics right here at the start of this book, I don't know if y'all can see this or not. So I'll draw it out. Right here at the start of this book, Greg has a chart. And it's two circles. In the middle that says energy. And the circle that is on the left is the amount of energy that a lot of people expel right here. The non-essentialist expels. It's the same amount of energy. Now, it's not driven to scale, but it's the same amount of energy, but it's going off in a million different directions. The essentialist sticks to their essential purpose. So you have the same amount of energy, but it's going straight up and vertical. All the way straight up and vertical. So you're going to get a lot more done towards your key purpose by staying focused on what's most important, by not doing doing as little as possible outside of your essential purpose, what's going to help you achieve your essential purpose. So I don't necessarily 100% agree with the subtitle here, which says Essentialism. The subtitle is The Disciplined Pursuit of Less. One of the things you put on title is kind of like the 4-Hour Work Week, which I've actually refused to read because it's the 4-Hour Work Week. I don't believe in it. But The Disciplined Pursuit of Less, you put that on the title a lot of times to catch people's attention so they go in there and read this. I think you'll find that in many ways it isn't that you're doing less as far as doing less work. It's that you're doing less different main subjects and topics. You're sticking to one essential purpose as close as you possibly can and expelling all of your energy to that, instead of going into a million different directions, having a million different services or a million different small little things that you're doing. You feel like you're staying busy, that you're hustling, that you're going through the grind. But if you're not focused, then a lot of times you're working against yourself as often as you're working forward. You're working backwards as much as you're working forward. This book will help prioritize that for you and kind of drive that home. The title, I think the subtitle of this should actually be The Disciplined Pursuit of Less BS, so you can do more of the stuff that counts. The disciplined pursuit of less BS in order for you to do more of the stuff that counts. Again, it shouldn't be that you don't work as hard, but it should be that you prioritize stuff better, and you always stay busy, and sometimes you aren't working just for the sake of working, which is what many people do because they feel like they have to do this thing called hustle, and they have to do this grind or whatever. And a lot of that's just a bunch of BS that some of these motivational guys put out there just to make themselves feel better and make them look like they work a lot harder than everybody else. One of the key takes also that I took from this is you need to really say no gracefully to as much stuff as possible that doesn't assist you in reaching your essential purpose. So, for example, the essential purpose for junk doctors is our purpose is to help more people remove junk in the Raleigh area than any other company by maintaining unreal quality and investing in the business for growth. So one of the essential purposes on here is anything we do, we want to make sure we're not just taking out as much profits as possible. We want to be reinvesting in the business, so we make sure we're doing more work we're doing more junk removal jobs than anybody else in the area. But one thing I missed here is actually the end of this I didn't read out, is while it's maintaining unreal quality and investing in business for profitable growth. I missed that word in there. It's profitable growth. So that what that also tells you is we're not going to go out there and do a crap ton of Groupon jobs because you're not profitable in Groupon. Yes, you do more jobs, but you've got to be profitable. We're not going to get into some of the new construction stuff at a really small margin because it's not profitable. It really keeps us focused. Now, would dumpsters fall within that essential purpose? Possibly. So even though dumpsters falls within the essential purpose, we aren't currently doing dumpsters. We started JRA instead of investing in dumpsters and starting another service. But cleaning is not within that. Power washing is not within that essential purpose. Can essential purposes change? Yes, they can. But it should be a major, major decision. It should almost be like an act of Congress. Maybe a functioning Congress. Right now, we don't have much of a Congress. You're not going to shut your business down just because you can't get something done. But it should take that much effort, that much thought before you change your essential purpose. Not that you can't change it, but you got to put a lot of thought into it. It should be something you change on just a whim. And that being said, you should really think through your essential purpose before writing it down and spreading it throughout your company. One of the things you can think about on the essential purpose, a great little quote is, one of the most important things is to keep the main thing the main thing. So the main thing is to keep the main thing the main thing. I think that's just a fantastic saying. The main thing is to keep the main thing the main thing. So it drives home. You need to stick with that essential purpose. You can't go off on a million different tangents. I work with people all the time, and I've been guilty of this a ton in the past. Is they go this way, they go this way, they go this way. They're zigzagging left and right all the time, and they're not really moving forward. Sometimes they're zigzagging towards the back. Sometimes they're doing a lateral, and it's not advancing yardage. They're losing yardage when they do it. So with a new idea, like for example with JRA, when we first started JRA, there was definitely some zigs, but overall we were moving forward. We were moving forward the entire time. A lot of people, they do these, it's 90 degrees. So it's 90 degrees. They're not moving forward at all. They're doing 90-degree turns, just kind of fighting against themselves as much as they're fighting for themselves. So though you'll make pivots, and like with JRA, we made those big pivots, and now it's just gentle turns. Just we pivot every so often, but it's mostly now it's pretty much a straight line. We've figured out what the market demands. We've figured out where we can provide the most value to people, and that's getting them trained up, and that's getting them jobs through our marketing services. And that's me working with them on the consulting end, trying to help them through some slow times. We're in the middle of winter right now when I'm recording this book review. It's slow for a lot of people. We do We'll do twice as much in the summertime as we do in the winter. We still do a decent amount in the winter. But, again, we've been in business a long time. We've invested a bunch in advertising. We have a lot of contracts and repeat customers, so it keeps us busy. But if you look at our bottom line through January and February, it'll be in the red. So, even we lose money in January and February. We have a lot of fixed costs to cover. But, that's our central purpose right there. And everything we do is basing off of where can we provide the most value. That's really covered in this book. The main thing is to keep the main thing the main thing. So this is my to-do list. I do a to-do list every morning, or I fill out every evening for the following day. I write my goals down in the morning. I write my goals down in the evening. This is the 10X Planner by Grant Cardone. We're actually about to head down to Miami to his 10X Growth Conference. Today, we'll be taking off on my plane sometime around 3 o'clock to head down to Miami. Got some great customers down there, or potential customers. We got Joe Garcia, Grunts Move Junk, Massachusetts, that's going to be down there. We're going to catch dinner with him one night. And I believe we're going to try and get up with Joel Tilford, who's not currently a customer, but him and I message back and forth quite often about different aspects of the business. He hasn't been in it as long as us, but admittedly, there's a thing. We talked to him a little bit about some of the sales commission stuff that he does. It's junk patrol in California, Sacramento, California, or Roseville, California. And there's some stuff he does on encouraging his guys to get that, a high price while still, not really overquoting, but by being able to quote full price at least and getting some extra on some additional charges. There's a way he incentivizes his people that we're going to experiment with. We've never done that in the past, so I'm out there learning too. I'm looking around trying to figure out. I know most of stuff, how to handle, and probably more about junk removal than about anybody other than maybe Brian Scudamore. But I always try and pick up stuff, and the nice thing with JRA is we're able to do that. We're getting exposed to so many different businesses. I'm able to learn things that's going to help us achieve our essential purpose, and we'll implement it on Junk Doctors. So we hope to get up with Joel. We're going to see Joe. Probably tonight, probably get a steak with Joe somewhere in Miami tonight. So anyway, on this to-do list, there's a bunch of things on there. I will not accomplish everything on that list today. There's going to be a lot of stuff that is not crossed out. I also use a paper list. This planner is great. He charges like $30 a planner, but I love those things. I like being able to cross stuff off. I like being able to write it down. I think it's a lot more effective than putting it in your phone. Could be just a personal preference to me, but there's something about that swipe. There's something that just turns me on to swipe that pen across the paper, across something off. But there's things on there that won't get done. But what I do is I do the most important things first. This book really talks about that. I haven't always done that. It used to be I'd start out with some of the simpler things just so I can feel myself starting to cross stuff off and get stuff done. I'd look at that list. I'd feel more accomplished if more things were crossed off. But there'd be major things that might take several days for me to get to because I knew it was going to take the majority of the day. So I avoided those things. This video right here, this book review, I've been mulling in my head exactly how I'm going to do the thing the last few days. Aaron set up his camera 3 times and I haven't gotten to it yet. This is an important thing I should have gotten done 3 days ago. I was not being much of an essentialist when it came to this particular video. Do the most important things first. One of the things that I love in this book, it equated it to remove the largest boulder first. Find that largest boulder, you remove that largest boulder, and there's a good chance that all the other rocks that are in your way are going to start rolling downhill by getting rid of that largest boulder immediately. So at the beginning of your day, start with the hardest thing first or the most important thing first. Work your way down that list. Get as much done as you possibly can. And if there comes to a point where you got to stop, then you just add that stuff to the following list. Get the most important things done first. Everything else you can get moved on if for some reason you can't get it done. Start small and celebrate progress. Love this. Absolutely love this. Now, I'll take it a little bit a step further. He actually talks about, I think he talks about in here, setting kind of reasonable goals. And I don't think you should set small goals. I think you should have one massive goal, this huge, gigantic goal, such as if you want to make $1 million a year. If you want to net, between salary and net, it's $1 million a year. Between what your tax return plus depreciation and bullshit tax write-offs that everybody should be taking advantage of, plus what you earn on your salary. You want it to be $1 million a year. You're currently at $50,000 a year. Set that son of a gun at $1 million a year. I wouldn't necessarily set it at $10 million a year because that's going to take you you know, that might be a little, potentially a little much, but set it $1 million a year. You got a long way from 50,000 to $1 million. But then you need to celebrate little steps along the way. So every single day, I got an income goal in here. I write on there every day. I got that income goal in there, and I write it beginning of day and end of day. But I've got in my head, all right, when I reach X, this, you know, X, the amount of income on the way to $1 million, I'm gonna, you know, on the way to the goal, I'm gonna celebrate. So if your goal is $1 million, then when you reach 100, if you're at 50,000 now, then when you reach 100,000, you reach 250,000, you reach 500,000, 750,000, and then finally $1 million, you set them. And once you achieve that goal, whatever that income level is, you need to change it. You need to up it. So if you reach that $1 million, your goal is $1 million, you were 50,000 before, you more than you 10x that one, but the next goal should be 10 million. All right, I want to make $10 million a year, or whatever it is. I mean, if you happen to be satisfied with $1 million, if that's where you like, great. Find some other goal, some other essential purpose to work towards. If at $1 million a year you can do what you want to do, then maybe at that point it's just a matter of helping more people, doing more stuff, family. You know, have a big goal, whatever it is. Set a big, large goal. Celebrate the increments in between. Dave Ramsey, which I agree with about 85% of what Dave says. I think debt is a good thing in business if used properly. If you use debt to achieve more income, then it's a good thing to do. Consumer debt, credit card debt, unless the credit card debt is towards something that's going to earn you more money, isn't very good. Car loans, you know, for something that's not going to earn you money, probably not a great thing. Probably should lease that through a business and write it off. But that's a different, going a little off subject here. One of the things Ramsey talks about is the debt snowball. And he talks about, so to completely disregard, let's say you own $10,000 on something that's at a 8% interest, and you owe $100,000. No, I'm sorry, I'm explaining this wrong. Let's say you have $10,000 at 3% interest, and you have $100,000 at 6% interest. A lot of people would try and pay off the $100,000 first because because they're looking at the interest they're paying as being an additional expense, which is true. What Ramsey says is, let's go to knock out this $10,000, even though it's a lower interest rate. Let's knock out this $10,000, and then what will happen is when you knock out that $10,000, one, you're building confidence. You're like, all right, I can do this. You know, you check that off. You no longer have that bill. Then you're also taking that payment. You've been making minimum payments on 100K. You're taking that payment for the $10,000, and you're able to really put it towards the next debt. If it's at $100,000, it's towards that. If not, it's towards a $25,000 or $50,000 one. You start with the smallest first. You work up to the largest. So Ramsey has a great big goal of you getting completely debt-free, but then it's taking incremental steps along the way to help you build up confidence. It's a snowball. You got that snowball rolling downhill. As it rolls downhill, it's picking up more snow, and by the end, at the bottom of that hill, you got a great big massive snowball. Treat your goals the same way. Set big massive goals, but celebrate the increments in between. I love this. If it isn't a clear yes, it is a no. This was a Twitter executive. I can't remember his name, but it was the guy that started Twitter, said if it isn't a clear yes, then it is a no. I don't know as if this can be applied to everything, but I think it can be applied to a lot of things. When you're looking to hire somebody, I think this is essential. This is where I get the most value out of this for hiring somebody. I can interview somebody, we can try them out, and you're either going to feel like, man, this guy's a great fit, and if that's the case, you hire him. You check, you call their references or whatever, make sure you do that, but it's like, man, this guy's a great fit, you hire him. But if you're on the fence, like, I don't know, maybe he's okay, or whatever. We've been burned so many times by hiring people that we knew from the start were not 100% right. That really negatively affected us for sure. So if it isn't a clear yes, it's a no. One thing to keep in mind is as you gain more success and you gain more money, you're going to be exposed to more opportunities. You're going to have more opportunities come to you. This is a very easy point for people to get distracted, to no longer follow their essential purpose. So if you decide you're ready to try a new opportunity, you need to figure out if it aligns with your essential purpose, or is it time to change your essential purpose. But remember, it should take an act of Congress, a functioning Congress, before you change that essential purpose. Go all in and don't consider failure. Commit. You've got to commit. Huge, absolutely huge. This has been JRA would not be where it's at right now. We're working with 25, 30 companies throughout the country right now. Would never have gotten here had I not committed fully. Had I not, and you don't consider failure. Do not consider failure. If you consider failure, you're never going to take the swings and steps necessary to succeed. Your junk removal business is the same way. You get out and you do some advertising that's a bit more expensive than what you're used to. Things get slow, you got to keep paying that advertising bill. You got to keep paying Google. You got to keep advertising. If you don't advertise, you're not going to get jobs. You've got to commit. And then like with JRA, it's not really advertising as much. Right now, most of the advertising we do is free. One of my goals is to spend a significant amount on advertising. I want JRA, if y'all see anything affiliated with junk removal, if you've been on our site, watched our videos, I want within this year, to everywhere you turn, here's a JRA advertisement, JRA video on YouTube, JRA video on Facebook, JRA popping up on Google, JRA everywhere you turn. You go on some website, news site, here's a JRA ad. You know, we want JRA to be completely in front of you where you can't forget us. Right now, we're not spending that money. Our main thing now is hiring people. So we're about to expand our call center. We've got people that are interested, but before they've committed, before we've collected money, we got to go out and hire additional call center reps. So we got ads up to hire additional call center reps before the income's there. We're committing guys. We're going out there and we're hiring those additional call center reps. And maybe those guys are doing cold calls to all these other junk removal companies to try and push that call center. Call center's a great thing, man. And, you know, it's something I wish we could have had years ago. Because I answered phone after hours. You know, I was taking calls up until a year within the last year when we expanded this call center. It's going to go all the way to midnight because we got people on the West Coast that want to use it. And you know, midnight ain't but 9 p.m. there. So we're going to get it open till midnight. We're going to make a commitment to expand that call center out before the business is even there. We're going to take the steps necessary to do it. Make that commitment, and you'll have a lot of, you know, make that commitment, and that'll force you to take the steps necessary to accomplish great things. Backup plans distract from the primary goal. Henry Ford once had a saying, this isn't in the book, this is just a saying I love. You should not have a plan B because it distracts from plan A. Guys, you got to commit to one thing, you got to go all in, and you don't have an exit strategy. That's in the book Rework. Rework talks about you shouldn't have an exit strategy when going into business. 100% correct. You read all these damn business books that college professors put out that never owned a business in their entire life, and they always talk about an exit strategy. It's a bunch of bullshit. You should not have an exit strategy. You should commit 100% to what you're doing and not consider failure. Backup plans distract from the main purpose. Don't have a plan B because it distracts from plan A. So, again, Essentialism by Greg McKeown. Buy it on Amazon. It's an Amazon Prime book. Highly recommend. It's a pretty easy read. You can probably read it, you know, I don't know in how many hours. Depends how fast you read you are. Obviously, it takes me a little while to actually read these things because I jot notes down. I encourage you to jot notes down when you read also. But again, I really do recommend this book. For any of y'all that are having trouble kind of organizing your thoughts, you could find yourself going off in a million different directions. You're trying to get away with 4 hours of sleep, but you're operating, you know, you're only operating at 50% the entire day, or you're out of energy come 2, 3 o'clock. You need to be at 7 or 8 hours of sleep. The people that feel like you always got to hustle and grind, this is a great book for you. Again, it's not the disciplined pursuit of less. It's the disciplined pursuit of less BS, so you can achieve more of what matters that leads to your essential purpose. That's what this book's about. Highly recommend it. It's been Lee Godbold with Junk Removal Authority. Check us out at junkra.com, 919-617-1975. Give us a call today. We want to help you. We want to help you get in business and grow your business to levels you've never been able to reach and possibly never dreamed of. junkremovalauthority.com. We'll be back before you know it, guys. Thanks.